let's dive into the journal. So this is a 6-month journal, and it starts off with some questions to help you set your foundation for wellness. And then every week there are questions that repeat themselves and a tracking form that will help you kind of stick with the wellness pieces that you're looking for. So the very first page is getting clear on your vision. And so for this, for some of you, you might have a very specific idea of what you want your wellness to look like. You may have bought this journal being like, I need to lose 10 pounds. So knowing what you know now about this philosophy of wellness as being a whole, I want to encourage you to look a little bit broader. What does your life look like when you feel really well? Do you have more energy? Do you have more confidence in yourself? Do you feel like, maybe I'm not able to go for a run for 30 minutes, but I know I can try and I can do 10 minutes and then I can walk, whatever it is. Maybe wellness to you is having more balance in your life. Maybe somebody listening right now knows that they're pushing themselves too hard in regards to working out and obsessing over food. And part of their wellness vision is to actually have more balance, to be more relaxed, to not let what I call their fearful friend, that voice that's like, you need to go to the gym or you're not good enough to do that, not to let that voice be in control. So I want you to imagine and get really clear on where it is that you're going, because if we don't know where it is that we're going, it's very damn hard to get there. At the end of the day, anything that we're working towards, we're not actually working towards it just to get the thing. We're working towards it to get the feeling that's attached to that thing. Right? We're working towards, things are just things. We're working towards the feeling that we get when we have that thing. So we have to identify what feeling it is that we're looking for. And the beauty of this is when we start to identify those feelings, whether it's love or confidence or calm or energy, we can actually start to hijack the whole process by simply looking for ways to cultivate that feeling in our life today, starting now, before we lose the weight, before we start to wake up at 6 a.m. We start to cultivate those feelings. And then the last thing on this page is to identify an anchor, something that is going to remind you about your vision and about why you're doing this and about your words. Okay, so the next 2 pages are all about mindset, and some of these are pretty self-explanatory. So your limiting beliefs are those beliefs that sometimes get in the way of you being able to do the thing that you want to do. So if somebody wants to get up early at 6 a.m., maybe there is a bit of a belief that you'll be tired for the rest of the day if you do that. Or I'm not a morning person, so I can't do that. Or I'm too lazy because somebody's told you that at some point in the day. So I want you to identify some of the limiting beliefs that could get in the way or jump up that could prevent you from getting to that vision that you've set. And then I almost want you to flip those, and I want you to come up with some empowering beliefs that are going to help you move towards that vision, that are going to support you in getting to where you want to be. Next, you're going to pick your 6-month focus, which seems really challenging, but I want you to go back to your vision. So your 6-month focus, you might have this vision that's like, I'm cooking more homemade meals, I'm exercising more, I'm drinking water, I'm meditating. I want you to pick one of those things that you're really going to focus on, the thing that stands out the most to you. Because right off the bat, people mentioned that they were feeling overwhelmed about wellness. So let's simplify and pick one thing that would be really good to master over the 6 months. And then I want you to transfer those core desired feelings that you identified on the other page into the box below. And I want you to think of one action that could help you generate this feeling now, today. So If a feeling that you are craving is self-love, what's one thing that you could do today to really help you step into that feeling? So that might be speaking kindly to yourself, allowing yourself to close your computer a bit earlier than you would and not get back to all the emails so that you can go to bed and sleep, letting yourself watch a show because you had a busy day, or deciding that instead of watching a show, you're going to take yourself for a walk. Whatever feels like self-love to you. What is something that you can do now? Not when you lose the weight, not when you da-da-da-da-da, but something to help you cultivate that feeling now. The next page is about moving your body. I use the term movement instead of exercise because we have quite a complicated relationship with exercise. So this page just has some tips to help you kind of get clear on the types of movement that feel good to you, the reasons that you're committing to move your body. And I really encourage you in that area to look beyond your size. So, because what can happen is we get very frustrated when we start to move our body and our body doesn't all of a sudden look like a Victoria's Secret model. And so we want to give up. So let's stop making that the goal. Let's think about how it makes you feel less anxious. Let's talk about how it gives you more energy. Let's talk about how you feel stronger in your body. Let's talk about how it helps you push back past those limiting beliefs that you have. There are so many reasons to move your body, concentration, focus. So get clear on some that are beyond the way that you physically look. And then your movement menu is simply a list of ways that you actually enjoy moving. So forget about the fact that somebody once told you have to sweat profusely for 1 hour, 6 times a week. Do you like skating? Do you like going to a park and sprinting around the park in short bursts? Do you enjoy doing skip rope? Do you want to go rollerblading? And if you're having a hard time thinking what feels enjoyable to you, think back to when you were little. When you were little, what did you love to do? When we start to shift away from this like crazy exercise space that we have been living in to a space where movement is pleasurable, where we actually enjoy it, it feels so much easier to do it because of those 2 P's. It feels pleasurable. If walking with music feels good, great, you're moving your body. Good for you, gold star. The next page is all about nourishment and identifying high and low energy foods. So I do want to take a second to talk about this page because it's really important. How many of you have ever been in that space where you label foods as good or bad? These are the good foods and these are the bad foods. And if I eat the bad foods, I feel guilty and like I'm failing. And if I eat the good foods, then I feel that I'm a good person. Almost all of us have done that at some point. And so I want you to start switching from this mindset of foods having some sort of moral judgment on you, and instead looking at how they nourish you and how they make your individual body feel. This is the type of information that we love to outsource to professionals. We love to hear from a dietitian who tells us to stop eating carbs because that's the answer we've been looking for. But what I want to encourage you to do is to start looking within and listening to your body to notice what foods work for you as an individual. So on my high energy food list, I have all the things, a lot of the things that you would typically think about. I have like salmon and broccoli and veggies and beautiful green salads with avocado and hemp hearts and brown rice and smashed potatoes. And I love fresh pasta, but I also have Miss Vicky's chips because I freaking love them. They bring me so much joy. I don't get a headache. They don't cause me any problems. They're just really great in my life. I have smoothies. I have yogurt. I have, what's my other thing on my list? I don't have it with me right now. But what I want you to encourage you to do is think about the foods that leave you feeling a bit more energized, content, satisfied, like you enjoy eating them. And on your low energy list, I want you to identify some things that make you feel tired, maybe make you feel bloated, and a little bit of bloating. Let me just say, a little bit of bloating when you eat is totally normal. Your body's digesting foods and Some bloating is absolutely normal, but there's also the bloating that's like really painful. And that might be a sign that that food doesn't actually work that well for your body. So for me on my low energy food list, I have 5-cent candies, which immediately give me like cystic acne on my face and butt. And I also have things like onions and kale and chickpeas, which a lot of us have heard are really good for you. But for me, I get painful stomach aches when I eat those things, like up into my sternum. It's super uncomfortable. So that is going on my low energy food list. Now, here's the trick about high and low energy food lists. This is not a can and cannot list. But when we're thinking about optimizing wellness, if we're incorporating a lot of high energy foods into our day, you can imagine like you have this energy tank and you're filling it up. If we have a low energy food, it's not really going to impact it that much. You can still have some 5-cent candies every once in a while. You can still have that thing. Like the point here is to move to more of a flexible mindset versus super rigid. And if we just focus on having more high energy foods, then it's not a moral judgment about who you are. You're just like filling your gas tank of your body with foods that are going to serve you, but you're also allowing space for some of those low energy foods too, because they're not bad and sometimes they're damn delicious. There's some tips here which are pretty self-explanatory about how to start practicing mindful eating. And I really encourage you to take a read through those and to start practicing some of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. They're pretty self-explanatory. But the reason that we want to start doing this is so that we're working with our body. We're listening to our hunger cues and our fullness cues. We're slowing down when we eat. I mean, I could do a whole nother training specifically on mindful eating, but here are a few tips to get you started. The food journal, if you're somebody who has been struggling with your relationship with food for a long time, don't feel that you have to do this by any means. It is really an opportunity for you to start exploring what's working for your body and what's not. So you can just note down what you ate and note down if it's a high or low energy food. And maybe you don't know right away if it's high or low energy food. I will say a lot of people have no idea what their higher or low energy foods are to start, because they're like, I've just been told that's a bad food for so long. Like, I don't think it really impacts my body, but I don't know. So remember, this is a lifelong journey. We're just discovering about our body. We're practicing tuning in. So you might not know right away if it's a high or low energy food, and that's okay. But then I want you to notice how you feel after eating it. Do you feel totally fine? Was it super enjoyable? Or do you feel like you have to take a nap 30 minutes after and like you're going to pass out? So just really starting to notice how foods impact your individual body. Any questions on that page? Just raise your hand using the little raise your hand function so that it pops up on my screen, please. Yeah, Laura, you have a question? Oh, okay, great. Okay, moving on. So there's that form. We've got a page on self-care. The only thing I'm going to mention on this specific page is your personal nourishment menu. So this is a list of things that nourish you, not a list of things that you should do, like I should meditate and I should floss and I should take omega-3s. It's a list of things that nourish you, that make you feel cared for. So for somebody, that could be having alone time to read a book. For somebody else, that could be getting together with girlfriends and having a girls' night. It could be doing a face mask or having a therapy session. It could be a beautiful hot chocolate. It could be like a gorgeous green smoothie. I want you to take a second to think about what fuels you, what nourishes you, and think beyond food. Think beyond food. If you had an extra hour in the day and it wasn't going to impact your income or your to-do list, somebody else took that off and you could just do whatever you wanted, what would you spend your time doing? And that should go on your personal nourishment menu. There's a whole page on sleep, which is really self-explanatory. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. I think you girls will probably be able to figure that one out. The page on calm is, again, pretty self-explanatory. The main thing that I want to mention here is that stress has a huge impact on our overall wellness on so many levels. And so many people are stressed, myself included. And so through the media that we're consuming, through the foods that we're eating, through the pace at which we live, through the amount of times that we check our phone, it's taking our body into a fight or flight response, a stress response. And as soon as we're in that stress response, we cannot digest our food as well. We do not access or tap into the nutrients in the food that we're eating as well. We don't think as clearly. Our body cannot function for a long period of time in that state. Fight or flight is designed for short bursts of energy to get us away from the potential tiger that was attacking us at some point in history. When we're living in that space for extended periods of time, the body can't cope with that, and things start to break down. Our skin, our mental health, our digestive system, our endocrine system, all of the things. So on this page are several tips and tools of varying levels to help you bring some more calm into your life. The page on social media, self-explanatory. I'm not going to spend that much time on there, but we've really got to dive into this piece as part of our wellness because it's something that's impacting so many people. Okay, so that's the foundational part of the journal. So first of all, the beauty of this journal is that the weeks are not written in. So if you F up and you miss a week, please know that I have too, and it's my own journal. Just start again. Just start again. You don't have to be perfect. This is your lifelong experimentation lab journey. You can miss a week, right? Just start again. That's all I ask. Just keep going. So I want you to figure out which part of your wellness vision you're going to focus on this week. You've got that 6-month focus. So we use that time with meal prepping and cooking at home. Maybe that ends up being your focus for quite a bit of it. Maybe you want to switch it up every once in a while. And then I want you to identify some action steps that you're taking to make this vision a reality. So using the example of cooking at home, the action steps, I'm going to go grocery shopping twice this week. I'm going to put together a meal plan. I'm going to have one night where I have a friend come over for dinner so that it feels more exciting to cook, whatever it is. What is the core desired feeling that you're focused on cultivating? What's the core desired feeling that you're focused on cultivating this week? So maybe you're having a week where all weekend you feel like your eating was off. And so this week you really want to tap into a feeling of energy or vibrance. Noticing one core desired feeling that you want to work on this week. And then what are you going to do to tap into that feeling? Maybe it's self-love. Okay, I'm going to cancel something in my calendar and I'm going to give myself time to focus on something on my personal nourishment menu. Or I'm going to say my empowering beliefs every morning before I start the day. Write down a couple of affirmations for the week. Those are your I am statements. I am strong. I am capable. I am committed. I am love. I am perfect the way that I am. And then the 3 forms of self-care that you want to practice this week. There's a space on the next page if you want to do some meal planning. And just know yourself. If you're somebody who's overly controlling with food, I would encourage you not to use this that much. Maybe plan out your dinners or plan out a few meals, but don't get obsessive over it. You know who you are. And if you're somebody who is always flying by the seat of their pants and ends up having meals out all the time, then I'm going to encourage you to use this to create a little bit of structure. You also have space for your activity plan. So that's where you can kind of notice, oh, interesting. I am only working all week long. I haven't made any time for exercise or for social time. How am I going to feel at the end of that week? And then you can just simply start to kind of move things around. Okay, Friday night, I should reach out to blah, blah, blah and schedule in some social time. And then maybe Tuesday, Thursday morning, and Saturday afternoon are going to be the times when I carve out some space for moving my body. As simple as that, just to give yourself a bit of a bird's eye view. Okay? Then we have our weekly tracker, which is for sure my favorite page. The key thing I want you to know about this page is that it is not your to-do list. It is not your to-do list. It is simply a way for you to start noticing when you do certain things, how you feel at the end of the day. I look at this and I'm like, if I did all of these things every single day, I would be exhausted. And it would take up all my time. Where would I fit in the kids? Where would I fit in work? I have no idea. So instead, what I would do is I note, okay, I'm waking up on Tuesday and I'm feeling anxious. I can look back at the last night. Oh, look, like I haven't exercised for the last 4 days and I haven't taken my supplements. I haven't meditated. So no wonder I feel anxious. We can start to understand ourselves a little bit better using this. With certain things, I love it for holding me accountable. I always forget to take my supplements. So I use this as a reminder for that. I love taking off the water thing because there's a feeling of accomplishment, but I just don't want you to get into a space where you feel like you're failing if everything on here isn't checking out right. Got it? And then the final piece each week is to do a check-in with yourself. And we're not in elementary school anymore or high school anymore. Nobody is giving you an A or a grade on this. So there's no space or need for judgment or comparison. Again, we're looking at this journey as from a place of curiosity, of compassion, and just staying committed to yourself. So identifying your weekly win, big or small. I made one meal for myself. Great. I got out and I exercised. I made a social event, a date for some social time with somebody. Just noticing something that feels like a win to encourage. I know all of you are very good at figuring out the things that you did not do right. So instead, focus on the win. What progress did you make towards your action steps? Note it doesn't say, did you hit all of them? It just says, what progress did you make towards them? Were you able to cultivate or tap into your core desired feeling? And then in the space where we've got all the ovals, you can just sort of shade them in and note where you're at in regards to your mindset, movement, nourishment, sleep quality, self-care, and all of these different pieces. And I also want to invite you at any point to send me a DM on Instagram or to send me an email. My email address is erin@rawbeautytalks.com. That's my personal email address. So if you have any questions or you're confused about whether you're doing something right, then please send me a message. But at the end of the day, remember that wellness, and it is a journey. There is no final destination. It is a process that you are going to be going on throughout your entire life because, even when we feel like we've nailed it for a moment, our bodies change. We go through different stages in life. We process grief. We have an anxiety attack. Something happens in our family. So we've got to be compassionate with ourselves, and that starts now.